word or deed of sympathy. That was the condition of the unjust steward. And she goes on to say they are embezzling his entrusted goods. And then she warns everyone will be required to render up his entrusted gifts. Let me ask you this. How much of what we have in this world are we going to take with us? Nothing. So is our stewardship in this life going to fail? Yes. But what happens if we've invested in the future? We won't have anything that we had here, but we'll have all of the master's goods. So once again, everyone will be required to render up his entrusted gifts. In the day of the final judgment, see, this is the end time fulfillment of this parable. It speaks about this generation. Men's hoarded wealth will be worthless to them. They have nothing they can call their own because they lost this world and they lost the next as well. Those who spend their lives in laying up worldly treasure show less wisdom, less thought, and care for their eternal well-being than did the unjust steward for his earthly support. Less wise than the children of this world in their generation are these professed children of the light. Now we need to answer the question. Who are the friends that are going to welcome the sons of light into the eternal kingdom? Because there's a parallel here, isn't there? You know, the unjust steward was welcomed by his friends into an earthly home. Who are those that will welcome the sons of light into the eternal home? And what is the eternal home? Let's read verse 9. It says there, and we already read this, that if we make friends while we live in this world, our friends will welcome us in the world to come. Who are the friends?
Angels.
Let me just read you a statement here from Christ Object Lessons 373. God and Christ and angels are all ministering to the afflicted,
That's right.
the suffering and the sinful. How do we become friends of God and Christ and the angels? Where do Christ and God and the angels live? In heaven. Is that the eternal home? Yes. That's the eternal home. So what do? Do they minister? Yeah, their entire existence is to what? To minister. So how is it that we become their friends? By sharing their spirit. Once again, God and Christ and angels are all ministering to the afflicted, the suffering and the sinful. Give yourself to God for His work. Use His gifts for this purpose. And you enter into partnership with heavenly beings. So if we're using our earthly resources, thinking of the future and not living for the present, we are becoming friends of those who live in the eternal dwellings. She continues writing, your heart will throb in sympathy with theirs. You will be assimilated to them in character. To you, these dwellers in the eternal tabernacles will not be strangers. When earthly things shall have passed away, the watchers at heaven's gates will bid you welcome.
What a word!
Are you catching the meaning of the parable? Page 374 of Christ's Object Lessons. God desires us to choose the heavenly in place of the earthly. When the riches that moth devours and rust corrupts shall be swept away, Christ's followers can rejoice in their heavenly treasure, the riches that are imperishable. You know, not only Ellen White caught the nuance of this parable. I'd like to read you a statement from Albert Barnes, a great Bible commentator from over 100 years ago. He wrote this: We can make friends in the eternal home by doing the following. This may be done by using our riches as we should do. That is, by not suffering them to entangle us in cares and perplexities dangerous to the soul, engrossing the time and stealing away the affections. By employing them in works of mercy and benevolence, aiding the poor, contributing to the advance of the gospel, bestowing them where they will do good, and in such a manner that God will approve the deed and will bless us for it. There's still hope for us. Ellen White wrote, to those who have squandered his goods, Christ still gives opportunity to secure lasting riches. Are you going to take your home to heaven? Or your homes? Are you going to take your automobile to heaven? Are you going to take your bank account to heaven? No, it's all going to perish. So what should we be doing with the resources that God has given us? We should be investing them in blessing humanity. Isn't that true? That's what we should be doing. We should be investing in eternity. Because someday our name is going to come up before the judgment bar of God, and we will have to render an account.
What a word.
So let's summarize the meaning of the parable. First of all, let's deal with the earthly perspective. A worldly person who has squandered his master's goods and has only been thinking about the present and about himself starts thinking about the future and about benefiting others. And so he says, I better start changing my way of acting. I'm going to benefit others. And in this way, he's preparing the way for his friends to receive him into their earthly homes. Now here's the application. The children of light have also squandered God's goods. And they need to start thinking about what? Not about self and about accumulating stuff here. They need to start thinking about what? The future. They need to start using the master's goods for what purpose? For benefiting others. So that Jesus and God the Father and the angels, friends, will welcome us into our eternal home. You know, some people get all hung up because, you know, the unjust steward used the wrong methods. Well, you know, sometimes Jesus in his parables did comparisons by way of contrast.
That's right.
The parable that we're going to study this afternoon, you know, says that there was a judge that didn't fear God and didn't regard men. He was a secular judge. He wasn't religious. And, you know, this widow kept on coming to him and coming, asking him to do justice over her adversary. And finally the judge says, man, this woman is such a pest. I'm going to give her what she wants because I'm sick and tired of her coming. Do you know who the judge in that story represents? He represents God. You say, now wait a minute. How can a judge that represents God, how can a judge who's a secular judge, doesn't fear God, doesn't regard man, and finally answers the pleas of the widow to get her off his back, how can that represent God? Because Jesus is making a comparison by way of contrast. What he's saying is, if a judge who does not fear God nor regard man answers the pleas of a widow to get her off his back, how much more will God answer the pleas of his people because he loves them? So it's a comparison by way of contrast. Now let's end by reading Luke 16, 10 to 13. We've studied the parable, now we'll be able to understand these verses. He who is faithful in what is least. What would that be? What we've got here. He He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in what is much. When is that? Up there. He who is unjust in what is least, like this unjust steward, is unjust also in what? In the life to come. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, in other words, if you haven't been faithful in managing the goods that God has given you here, who will commit to your faith, to your trust, the true riches? What are the true riches? What we will have in the eternal kingdom.